at noon. CBS 47 Action News Jax starts right now.
And right now, a series of crosses sit outside Robb Elementary School, each one personalized with the name of a child or a teacher that you see here. Hits you in the heart. Welcome to Action News Jax at noon. I'm Dawn Lopez. 48 hours later, it's still hard for Americans to wrap their heads around what's happened in this tiny Texas town. Here's the very latest reports. They show that the gunman was inside the school upwards of 40 minutes. Parents were outside the whole time, and now there are still many questioning the reaction from law enforcement at the scene. CNN's Mike Valero joins us live right now from Texas with the latest.
Well, the latest edition of the local paper is out at this hour. The entire front page in black minus the date of the massacre. And if we flip over to the back side with the main headline for this story, city's soul crushed. This as more families are preparing for funerals.
A heartbroken community embracing one another. The notes of Amazing Grace, the soundtrack to their pain. Hundreds gathered at a vigil Wednesday night to mourn the 21 lives lost in the massacre at Robb Elementary School. Today, we're learning who some of them were. Teachers Eva Morales and Irma Garcia, along with their students. Eliahana Cruz Torres, Eliana Eli Garcia, Tess Marie Mata, Lexi Rubio, Nave Alisa Bravo, Jose Flores Jr., Annabel Guadalupe Rodriguez, whose family says she was killed along with her cousin, whose name has not been released. Uzziah Garcia, Javier Lopez, and Amory Joe Garza, whose father, a medic and one of the first responders that day, said he found out his daughter was killed from her best friend.
She was so sweet, Mr. Cooper. She was the sweetest little girl who did nothing wrong. She listened to her mom and dad. She always brushed her teeth. She was creative. She made things for us. She never got in trouble in school. Like, I just want to know what she did to be a victim.
We're also hearing from some of those young survivors who will have to live with these memories forever.
All we saw were thousands of police and Border Patrol coming into the cafeteria. And we were all hiding behind the stage in the cafeteria when it happened.
And the trauma and trepidation are certainly seemingly spreading here across Texas. We have a city about 4.5 miles, or I should say 4.5 hours south of here in Donna, that has canceled classes for the rest of the week because what school officials call a credible threat of violence. That is the latest reporting here in Uvalde. I'm Mike Valerio. Back to you.
Thank you, Mike. And talks about gun reform continue to heat up on Capitol Hill since the shooting. The Senate is expected to continue working to find some bipartisan common ground now and see what changes could be made on the federal level. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Kirsten Garris is there, where there are some proposals getting attention already from some bipartisan traction.
They're called red flag laws, and one was approved in Florida after that 2018 mass shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. These red flag laws allow a judge to order a temporary seizure of firearms when someone is considered a threat. Florida Republican Senators Marco Rubio and Rick Scott introduced their own version of this legislation last year. That bill would allow families and police to get a court order to prevent someone who poses a threat to themselves and others from even buying a gun. Another set of bills will require background checks for all gun sales, including those private transactions. A few Republicans are open to expanding background checks, but it's unclear if there's 60 votes in support in the Senate. Republican Senator Ted Cruz says he's against proposals that restrict constitutional rights.
You see politicians try to politicize it. You see Democrats and a lot of folks in the media whose immediate solution is to try to restrict the constitutional rights of law-abiding citizens. That doesn't work.
Today, we will be engaged in bipartisan conversations to try to find a path forward to make our streets safer, to make our schools safer. And our goal and our hope and our belief is that we can find that common ground.
Senate leadership says it will debate and vote on those bills that expand background checks after Memorial Day. For coverage you can count on in Washington, D.C., I'm Kirsten Garris, Action News Jax.
Thanks, Kirsten. The big story, as more details come out, are the victims. You can read more about the 21 lives lost on our website, actionnewsjax.com.